here are some tips of what should you do at first on your Samsung Galaxy A56 5G after the initial configuration. So if you set up your phone and you are not sure what should you do next, then here's what we can do. So first we're gonna go to notifications, and you might be able to see this little notification, finish setting up your device. So we can tap over here and go through these options pretty quickly. Most of them look pretty much the same as in the initial configuration. So most of the time you can repeat the same steps as you did before, or if you actually change your mind, then of course you can do that right now. So for example, if you didn't set up the fingerprint sensor or face recognition or the screen lock password, then you can do this over here. I'm gonna actually skip this anyway. I'm gonna skip through all of this just in case you actually did the same thing. And if you actually see the Samsung account set up again, and if you don't want to set up again, then you can go over here to forgot password and then press setup later in settings, and then we're gonna just skip everything. And there we go, so that at least we don't have the notification anymore. Of course, this is just like a second chance to set some things up. But if you actually don't have this screen and you decided to set up the screen lock or biometrics, then what you need to do is go to settings. Then we want to go to screen lock and AOD, then go to screen lock and biometrics, and then here we can set up the screen lock and our biometrics if you have the password set up. So of course it is recommended to actually do that pretty much right away. The next thing that we can do is sign into the Google account and or Samsung account if we didn't do that before. Of course I had the option to sign into the Samsung account, but if you skipped that and now you decided to actually sign into the Samsung account, then what you can do is find accounts and backup in the settings, then choose manage accounts, and then over here you can press add account in order to add the Google account and also the Samsung account over here. Now luckily it is actually pretty easy to sign into the Samsung account even if you don't have your own account yet. If you didn't create your own yet, you can simply use the Google account in order to do so, which saves you lots of time. Next thing that we can do is update our phone. So what we can do is in the settings, scroll all the way down and go to software update, then press download and install, and our phone will check if there is any update waiting for us, which most likely is. In my case, actually there is no update for me, so I don't have to do this, but just to be sure, of course, go there and check if you have any new updates so that your phone is up to date. And the next step is to uninstall bloatware, because unfortunately some apps are pre-installed that we rarely or never really use. In my case, I have some Microsoft apps that I don't use at all, and some other apps as well as some apps that have been definitely pre-installed without, well, without any reason. So we can just press and hold our finger on an app and press uninstall and then confirm your choice, and do this with every app that you don't really need, if you think you don't really need. Of course, later on, if you decide to actually use some of these apps that you removed by accident, then you can get it from the Play Store or from the Galaxy Store. And this is the next step. We're gonna go to the Play Store first, and we're gonna set up the Play Store app. So first we want to press get started. Now over here we can just decide if we want to get special offers. I'm gonna select not now, and what we can do is we can tap on our profile in the top right corner, and we're gonna check manage apps and device, because over here we have app updates. So you can update all apps that we have on the phone to make sure that they are of course updated. So we can choose one by one which apps should be updated, or we can press update all in order to update everything at once. And we can do pretty much the same thing in the Galaxy Store. So if you go to the Galaxy Store, there should be some apps that are not here, that are not in the App Store. And so we can go to menu in the bottom right corner. We're gonna press accept, and then here we have updates. So some of these apps will also be here, but some of them are just Samsung related apps, which can also be of course updated here. And while being in the Galaxy Store, if you used Samsung before, then you are aware of the Samsung Message app, Messages I mean, which is actually missing on this phone by default. We do not have it pre-installed. We are using the Google Messages app. So if you actually prefer the Samsung Messages app, then it is also a good time to download it pretty much right away. So we can go to apps and search for Samsung Messages. There we go, Samsung Messages. And of course we can install it over here. So if you just press install, and then if you open it, you will have the option to set it up as the default app for sending messages and receiving, of course. And the next thing that we can do is go to the settings again. So we're gonna jump to the settings, and this time we're gonna scroll up, and we want to go to display. We have some display settings that I think are worth checking out pretty much at the beginning. For example, if you prefer to use the dark mode, then of course you can switch it over here. We have the brightness settings where we can enable and disable the automatic brightness, which is called adaptive brightness. So if you don't want to use adaptive brightness, then just turn it off over here. Then we also have the navigation bar, because over here we can choose to use buttons at the bottom of the screen, or we can use swipe gestures. So if you prefer one or the another, then of course we can change it over here. Next, we're gonna go to battery settings, which is just below display settings. And over here, what is worth checking out is the battery protection. Now, of course, by default, we use basic battery protection, which is okay. But if you want to, you can also use adaptive, which is definitely a little bit better for our battery. We can also use the maximum if you want to, but it definitely limits your battery to 80%. So if it's inconvenient, then you can just use adaptive instead. But if you're willing to stay with basic, then that's fine as well. And another thing is the fast charging option. We can go to charging settings, and here we have the option to enable or disable fast charging if you care about this thing. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the settings again, and this time we're gonna scroll down just a little bit to go to security and privacy. And over here we have the summary of everything that is worth considering checking out. So for example, the lock screen, I didn't set up my lock screen, so of course I have it orange, and it is I am asked to set up the screen lock. But we also have the account security, lost device protection, and the app security. So first we can go to lost device protection, and we can make sure that Find My Mobile is actually enabled. We can allow this phone to be found. We can also enable send last location and offline finding, just in case you lose the phone in the future or it gets stolen, then you have some ways to actually track the phone. Then we can go back and choose theft protection, where we can also find the theft detection lock, the offline device lock, and remote lock over here, all of which can be enabled and disabled. For some reason I cannot go to theft detection lock, but you should be able to do so. And we also have app security, where we use Google Play Protect, which is, I guess, fine, but we also have the McAfee app protection as well, which we can turn on over here. And last but not least, what we can do, which I think is quite convenient, is the app drawer or the app screen, because as you can see, or as you already know, the app screen has pages. It looks like this. It has like the functionality of the home screen, or it has the design of the home screen, where we have different pages, and we can freely change the position of apps. So if you like that, if you like this style, then of course that is fine. But if you actually prefer the alphabetical order, then we can tap on these three dots in the bottom right corner. Then we can choose sort, and then we can choose alphabetical order. And now we can just simply scroll up and down in order to find the list of apps, and they are sorted from A to Z, including folders. So first we have folders, and then we have our apps. If you actually want to go back to the previous view, then we can go back to sorting and set up the custom order again, and we will return to the previous order. And that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next videos. Bye.